Megan, like, how did you meet these amazing people? How did you come up with this idea? And you guys, and I'd love to hear from each of you how you were approached, if you were game from day one, or like, we don't know who this woman is. So, what was that process like?
Well, is this on?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. I'm more of a competitive swimmer per se. Um, I joined the team in 1998 because we had some competition with other people. So my background is a lifeguard, swimming competitively, and coaching kids. But I saw they asked me to help them in the relay, so I got involved, and then I saw the individual or the team doing various strokes and aquatic moves. So I said, why not? So I like challenges. I like to do something new. You know, I've done triathlons. I've ran a couple of marathons. I've rode my bike from New York to Virginia. So I'm a competitive guy, and as you saw in the movie, the film here, I'm a Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine. Hoorah, and all that. So I just enjoy it, and her always gives me so we fight, but it's a love thing.
It's very endearing, yes.
Yeah.
Did you hear the people laughing whenever
Oh
you
yeah,
guys were
yeah, yeah. Oh, and by the way, the lady who said that she gets first place because she outlived everybody, that's my goal also. Okay.
Who do you think
I'm
will
looking
win?
forward to go to the national swim competition, and I usually come in 7th or 8th place. So finally, last year I got 2nd place. So if I live a little in the 100-yard freestyle, so I come in first, but I'm the last person. So I'm just enjoying life. I'm enjoying it. I'm holding it by the tail, and if you don't use it, you lose it, and it's just a part of my makeup. It's in my DNA to compete.
How did you meet these guys?
Yeah, so this project started actually weirdly at the very beginning of the pandemic. The producer had approached me about the idea of doing a documentary on master synchronized swimmers because we'd just found out that it was happening. So initially we were hoping to film a bunch of people getting ready for Worlds, and then the pandemic changed everything and kept pushing things by years and years. But we'd done a bunch of research and wanted to find people across North America who came to synchro, came to the sport from different backgrounds, with different approaches. So yeah, I started just making phone calls early on when everyone was in lockdown. And I remember Joyce, unfortunately, who's in the film, she's in North Carolina now, so she couldn't be here. I first spoke to her, I think, in April 2020, and then got to meet these guys afterwards through Joyce, and spoke to Sue at the same time, and just really narrowed it down because for me, like, I'm not a synchronized swimmer. I'm not strong or
But
coordinated
they still
enough
let you
for
play
that.
with them?
Pardon?
Yeah, but they still let you play with them.
Yes.
so-
Yeah, well, it's such a beautiful sport. And for me, like, any film is about the characters. I've done different subject matter, but it's always comes down to the people and people that you want to spend time with and people that have so much to share with an audience. So yeah, just getting to share their stories is such a huge privilege for me.
I also wanted to ask you, it's fascinating to me when documentary filmmakers film something not knowing what's going to happen, because there's no way you could have known who's coming to Maine, who's not coming to Maine, what will happen, like somebody will stop Ellen at the customs. So what's that process like? Yeah.
I was going to say head fuck, but I'll just say head fuck. But also amazing because it keeps you on your toes. And like, so Ellen's a good example. Like, the day the competition was starting, she was supposed to be flying to Maine, and then we had a PA traveling with her, and he texted me, Ellen can't go to states. I was like, what? So we found out.
It's all legal in Maine, though. If I got her drift, I'm like,
Yeah.
you're welcome in Maine, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah, and New York,
Yes.
I think too. Yeah, so that was really heartbreaking for her, and then you just have to from like a storytelling perspective, just adjust and then figure out how to end her story in another way because it didn't get to end the way we were all expecting and the way she was hoping, but. Because she was especially sad not to meet these guys, and yeah.
I'd love to hear from you both before opening up to the audience. Just And also another thing, so I grew up in India, so synchronized swimming is called water ballet. And that is such a beautiful and apt term to describe what you guys do. So I just wanted you to know that's yeah. Yeah.
I'm Monica.
Oh, we know who you are.
I've come to the team about 15 years ago. When I first saw them swimming, I was about 55. I wasn't old enough. And then later on, they kind of let me in. I was put there to keep him in place. Yeah. I couldn't see growing up. I had visually handicapped. So swimming was the only thing I could do that I wouldn't get laughed at. If they played baseball, I would always get hit in the face or the body with the ball. And everybody just assumed because my voice was so deep and I was so tall, I would be a basketball player. Well, here I am, a synchronized swimmer. And
Much
I love
better.
it.
You can talk longer than that.
I'm saving it for the way home.
I'm not sure what to say. I think you heard it all. I've been a swimmer my whole life, and I took a break for 40 years where I was coaching at a really high level, so the Olympic level. And I think that made it easier for me to transition back to be an athlete again. But I'm stuck in the sport in a good way. So. And our director was amazing.
I'll keep my mouth shut. I'll open it up to the audience. Yes.
Will someone take out pictures of me?
Oh, my friend Carlos is taking pictures of us. But
Oh, yeah, great.
yeah.
He's a
Yes.
hand.
Yes.
He's have it in his phone.
You can ask your questions.
Yeah, you can.
My question was, for someone who has older parents and grandparents who probably would be excited to be part of this sport, but maybe intimidated by them not having been in the water before, but loving the camaraderie of it, what would your advice be?
Get your bathing suit and get to the water. Get your suit and get to the water. It doesn't, even if you've never been in the water before, sit on the side of the pool and dangle your legs. Then the next thing you know, you'll find your whole body in it. They'll love it once they get in.
The coaches will help them, and even if you don't have a great coach, you figure it out. It's just fun.
YouTube.
It's clean. I think my parents put us in the sport because we'd be clean.
Oh, never thought about that.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me, I'm hard of hearing. Speak up a little.
Oh, I can repeat the question on the mic if that helps. Yeah.
And I can be very loud. So, I'm curious, how many hours of footage did you shoot, and how much of the story did you envision when you started?
I think probably close to 100 hours, because we did a couple of shoots with each either swimmer or team, and then filmed for I think 4 or 5 days in Maine at the competition. For me, the important thing was looking at aging through a different lens, and I wanted to see people who are being incredibly active and passionate and oh my God, no. Well, that's what was also interesting for me, was realizing it's like, oh no, it's like, I mean, hanging out with you guys is like hanging out with teenagers half the time. So it's like, yeah. Yeah.
But also, I absolutely must compliment the music. I added those songs to my Spotify as I was watching the film. The song selection is, I don't know what the thought process is, but each of them is a banger.
We're only in the pool 2 days a week. We're only in the pool 2 days a week, and we only spend about an hour. And we don't have our quote-unquote pool. We started out at a Parks Department facility called Hansborough. We call it the Bathhouse up on 135th Street in Harlem. And it's going over renovation. So the pool has been closed for over 2 years. It's going to be another 2 years, it looks like. So we found a couple of pools that we could come in, and because the Parks Department, we were there free, now we have to generate money to pay for pool time, which has been a little difficult, but we're struggling. We're doing good.
Now he wants to give it to me.
More questions? Yes.
So I liked how it was like spread across the U.S. and in Canada. So I was wondering, and I saw there was like a second unit in the credits. So I was just wondering if you like directed it all at the same time, or if like there are separate days. You know, how was that like directing in multiple places?
Second unit. I'm trying to think what that would have been. We had a second camera in Maine, but that was it in terms of second unit. Like it was, it was me and Paul, who's the cinematographer, Adam, who did sound, and then we had an amazing PA named Hayden, who was with us for most of it, and then another cinematographer named Kevin, just for the main competition, and that was pretty much, that was it. Yeah.
Let me just give someone else a chance. Yeah.
For the documentary subjects, was there anything that you didn't expect about the filming process?
Was there anything about the filming process that you didn't expect?
I'll take it.
Yeah.
So the interview process at my house, which you saw a little clip of, was, I think it was 4 hours. But part of it was I make granola. So I decided I'd make granola that morning. But there's a process that you need to check it and turn it and do all these things. Thank goodness. Because it's just to be the subject of everybody just watching you and filming you I wasn't very comfortable in that. I like to be second or third in line. So it was great when the timer would go off. I'd say, okay, we'll take a break now, and I could go finish my granola. So that was one thing. I didn't expect to be interviewed for that long of a period of time, but it was wonderful.
Yeah, but you guys, because I mean, we're fairly, like, we are pretty invasive, really. Yes, like we come and we ask questions, and we're.
I found you guys to be really friendly. I didn't think it was invasive at all.
That's good.
And I like to talk. So I do. I have 12 brothers and sisters. I didn't get a chance to say very much. But they were very good. This was my first real experience with this. So for a first experience, it was a good one.
That's awesome.
And on that note, we just do routines. We have to go, when I say we, the Harlem Honey and Bears, we have to do some underwater movements. And that's what I was talking to this young lady over here at the end to send me some literature, some videos, because that's really synchronized or artistic swimming. What we're doing right now is really routines, and we need to up our game. Our game is, after watching these guys and the 91-year-old woman, our thing is like kindergarten stuff compared to what they're doing.
The difference is they started out when they were very young.
Oh yeah, they started
out
young.
when we were
they had
very
a
old.
good swimming background.
I think we can have one question, and Luther has picked the questioner at the back. Did you say lady at the back? Okay, you can have the last question. Yep.
I'm curious about the interview process. What we saw in the interview, like Sue's interview, is amazing. The way the storytelling was unfolding. Were you asking her questions and then just letting her talk, or how did that come? How did that work?
So I do, like, I talked to. Okay, thank you. I talk to everyone before we start filming just to sort of get a sense of people's backgrounds and of stories they might tell, but then there's always surprises because I don't like to know everything before we start talking. And I prefer to leave things open-ended and let people talk sort of as much as they want. Because then, people have a tendency also to fill space and then add things that they may not have thought of, and that's often pretty amazing. Yeah. So they are longer. Yeah.
There's a lot on the cutting floor because when we were cooking, I'm glad you didn't see that because they came in with the cameras and we were fixing a meal and we were going through some really serious problems. Not problems, but it was.
I loved that scene.
Oh.
It was so hard to like, yeah, there's so many, like that would be one of the ones that I miss. And there's a few others. The one with you and Barb, like coaching those girls. And it was like, because we had a broadcaster and we had to have it be 75 minutes. So for me, the ideal length would probably actually be 80 because there's a couple scenes that are like, I would love to have in there, but
That's the director's
just moving the
cut.
story forward is,
We'll wait for the director's cut.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, if you think this film should win the Audience Award, which I think you should, please vote for this film on your way out and have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you so much.